I'm Mary Esther Reed. I'm the mayor here in the town of Smyrna, and we'd like to welcome you all to the Captain Jeff Kuss Memorial Dedication. Today, we'll honor a true American hero, Captain Jeff Kuss. Our colors today will be presented by sailors from Navy Operational Support Center Nashville and Marines from Kilo Company 3rd Battalion, 23rd Regiment. The national anthem will be performed by the Stewart's Creek High School Choral and Band. The prayer will be led by Dr. Clark Harrell, and Dr. Harrell is the executive principal at Smyrna's own Stewart's Creek High School. Also want to mention another hat that Dr. Harrell wears. Colonel Harrell is an officer chaplain at the 118th Wing in Nashville. On the faithful day that we memorialize and will never forget, Colonel Harrell performed critical incident counseling with the Blue Angel crews and families as the military on-scene chaplain during the initial response and days that followed. Dr. Harrell, we are honored that you will be with us today. If you will all please stand and remove your hats for the presentation of the colors and the national anthem and prayer.
John F. Kennedy once said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men that it honors and by the men it remembers." It says a lot about the town of Smyrna, Rutherford County, our state, and yes, our nation, as we gather here on this sanctified holy ground that was set aside for all time to come to remember Captain Jeff Kuss and the values that he stood for. These are things that we want to remember. All of us gather here today and we share something in common, a profound admiration and respect for Captain Jeff Kuss, and we deeply appreciate his service to our nation. We regard him as one who embodied the qualities and the values that we most admire: courage, absolute dedication to duty, a willingness to go to any lengths to serve his country, and a commitment to live according to a very exacting code of honor. These are things that we should celebrate. To the memory and legacy of Captain Jeff Kuss, we extend thanks of a grateful city and nation. We extend the promise that his sacrifice will always be honored. All of us who serve, have served, and even today wear the uniform of our military, our great nation, we commit today, and we promise anew, to do our duty so that America will remain the beacon of hope, the lighthouse of freedom, and the bastion of liberty. We make this promise in the memory of Jeff, who served and gave his life. I stand before you today as a boy that was raised in Rutherford County and a man that's trying to be the best man he can be. But there's something I know as I look at this great monument today and what it represents. And I pray for this in closing. I hope decades from now that there's a father and a daughter that walks up to this awe-inspiring memorial. And the daughter looks up at the dad and notices that something's very silent and reverent about him as he stares and reflects. And she reaches up to hold his hand. And in that moment, as she looks up, she asks the question to her dad, "Why is this here?" And the dad, knowing that there's a lot of layers of teaching that will go with that statement, looks down and says 3 words to explain why it's here. "Honey, it's here because we are Americans."
Yay!
flyover today was from the Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 312, the Checkerboards. It was led by Major Kyle Riley, Flight Lead and Mission Commander Captain John Talafero, Lieutenant Colonel Ben Burke, and Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Bowden. This unit was Jeff's Marine Squadron. We're so glad they could be with us today. You know, today's a very special day for the town of Smyrna. A little over 2 years ago, We all suffered a real tragedy when Captain Kuss's plane went down while practicing for the Great Tennessee Air Show. I tell people all the time, the Blues aren't stationed here, they don't live here, but those that live in Smyrna, are they part of our community? They sure are. You know, when that accident happened, we were all in shock. We weren't sure exactly what to do. Many of you took to social media. And what did you want to do? You wanted to gather together as a family. Just like when a loved one in a family passes away, we all wanted to be together. And do you know what? That's exactly what our community did. Right here in Lee Victory Recreation Park, hundreds of you came out to grieve and pay tribute to Captain Jeff Kuss. Not long after the vigil, citizens began asking the town council, what can we do to honor Captain Kuss, our Blue Angel? We asked the community for ideas, and the idea that we heard the most was we want to see a memorial that includes a Blue Angel plane. So our committee went to work to make that happen. With a lot of hard work from a lot of you here, we got a plane on permanent loan from the Naval Aviation Museum. We got a design for the memorial. We raised over $1.4 million. And we constructed the memorial that you see before you today. This all happened in just over a year. It would not have been possible without the contributions from individuals from all over this country, but especially from the citizens and businesses right here in Rutherford County and the town of Smyrna. Now, almost 2 years exactly to the day, we've come full circle. We're back here in the same spot. But today, we're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate the life and service of Captain Jeff Kuss. There are a few people that I'd like to recognize that helped make this day possible. To the first responders who were on scene immediately following the accident and the days that followed, thank you what you did for us on that day. Now for the people all of you here have come to see. Michael and Janet, we stand up. This is Jeff's parents. Eric, his brother. And Christina, his wife. Each one of you to know how proud we were of your son, your brother, and your husband. Each one of you will forever be a part of the town of Smyrna. Next, I'd like to introduce our town council. Vice Mayor Mark Adkins, H.G. Cole, Tim Morrell, Steve Sullivan, Raquel Peebles. Harry Gill was not able, he's a little under the weather, so he's not able to be with us, and our incoming town manager, Brian Hercules. I want to thank each one of you for the support you've given this project. Next, I talked about the committee that was formed to make this happen. This committee has been meeting for almost 2 years, and they have done an amazing job. Town Manager Harry Gill, Rear Admiral Jimmy Taylor, John Black, Alan Brandon, Fire Chief Bill Culberson, Jerome Dempsey, Rex Gaither, Kelly Goosetree, Emma Heck, John Lanza, Jeff Peach, Mike Moss, Amber Hobbs, Tiffany Lawson, and Jimmy Stitt. This committee has worked tirelessly for the last 2 years to make this project work. Thank you. I also want to say a special thanks to Nathan Morgan and Rodney McCurry from Romac and Anthony Mangrum from Klein Sweeney. They have been working on this project day in and day out, and it would not have been possible without them. The last group I want to recognize is the Blue Angel community. You all have been a part of our community since the 1970s. We hope this memorial shows each one of you how we feel about Jeff and the Blue Angels. If you are connected in any way to the Blue Angel family, currently or previously, would you each please stand and be recognized? Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to introduce you to a gentleman who's going to recognize others who are significant in our community and our country. Ooh, that breeze feels nice, doesn't it? I'm so excited to be able to introduce Mike Campbell. Mike served on active duty from 1981 to 1994, completing tours of duty with 3 A6 intruder squadrons and a tour with the Blue Angels. Non-squadron assignments included assistant navigator of the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower and serving as the political military advisor in Iraq and Iran to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. For the last 25 years, Mike has led a financial planning business in Atlanta. 3 years ago, Mike was asked to lead the Blue Angel Foundation, an all-volunteer, nonprofit composed of former Blue Angels and business leaders who raise funds to improve the lives of wounded veterans with such things as assisting wounded veterans with transitional housing, completing their education, networking for employment, and resolving PTSD. One of the foundation's primary focuses is reducing veteran suicide. Mike's been married to Crystal for 30 years, and Chris served as a Navy pilot and later retired as a captain with Delta. Their son Jack graduated from the U.S. Coast Guard Academy and currently serves as a search and rescue helicopter pilot in New Orleans. Daughter Jane graduated from Stanford University and plays professional soccer with the Houston Dash and the United States women's national team. Mike enjoyed meeting and spending time with Captain Jeff Kuss while Jeff was serving as the Blue Angels narrator in 2015 and has become a friend of the family. It is my pleasure to introduce Mike Campbell.
Mayor, you know how to time everything. That was planned. That was really nice. Thank you, Mayor, for the kind introduction. Christina, Calvin, and Sloan, Janet, Michael, and Eric, Nicole, Mayor Reed, Smyrna Town Council, former and current Blue Angels, citizens of the great state of Tennessee, and of course, the wonderful people of Smyrna. Good morning and welcome to the dedication of the Captain Jeff Kuss Memorial. What an incredible morning this is. This is truly remarkable. Going off script here for a second, and I wanted to say, I was talking to Ryan Bernanke just a second ago, and I said, you know, the United States of America could use a lot of Smyrna, Tennessee. You all know how to do it up. It is my honor to be here today to say a few words as we dedicate this memorial to Jeff, an incredible son, brother, husband, father, Marine, and Blue Angel. Today is a day for all of us to be grateful. Grateful for this nation, grateful for the Kuss family, grateful for Jeff and the life he lived, and grateful for his example. We are truly blessed to live in the greatest nation in the world. America is great. She is truly great because we are a free people who enjoy incredible liberties, conceived by the Founding Fathers, inked in our Constitution, and preserved and protected by men and women who decided to serve our nation, many of whom paid the ultimate sacrifice. We honor and memorialize one of these heroes today, Captain Jeff Kuss, with this extraordinary memorial conceived by the citizens of Smyrna and funded with donations and sponsorships from here and around the nation. I am an eternal optimist who believes our nation's best days are ahead. And if we are to reach our full potential as a nation, one of the things we will need to do is take care of our veterans, our wounded veterans, and our military families. Further, we will have to set the example for the generations that follow, so that they too will honor, preserve, protect, and grow to make America all she can be. As we honor, respect, and revere previous generations, I have tremendous faith in Jeff's generation and of his children's generation. America's future success and security will come from this youth, thousands of whom will visit this memorial in the weeks, months, and years to come. This memorial to Jeff honors his faithful service and the faithful servant that he was. And importantly, the memorial will become a beacon for and a call to serve. Youngsters will visit here with their parents and grandparents on school field trips or with a friend on a beautiful Tennessee afternoon or evening and marvel at this memorial. They will learn of Jeff and his service. All will be moved. Some will feel the calling. Some will ask, how can I serve? They will be moved by the setting, the beautiful jet, and the words inscribed in the steel cutouts. They will read of the core values of honor, service, excellence, commitment, and courage. Ladies and gentlemen, these core values are our nation's greatest asset, and today her greater need. And it is with these words I focus my comments with you this morning. Allow me to take you back 31 years and share a short story from my time as a member of the Blue Angels in 1987. One of the responsibilities of being a Blue Angel is giving back in the local community. Each Friday morning of Air Show Week, Blue Angels are given an assignment. We would meet with children in a cancer ward. We spoke to aspiring high school or college students with an interest in the military, or on occasion, we would be assigned to visit a veterans hospital. Which brings me to a story my teammate described years ago when he made a trip to a VA hospital. He shared an experience I have never forgotten. We hear all kinds of stories about the VA, but nothing prepared my teammate for what he was about to experience. Upon arrival, he was escorted up a long staircase of an old red brick building. A series of signs pointed to an emergency exit door propped open by an old toolbox. A nurse met them, and they grasped another rail and began working their way to the top floor. They walked down the hallway, the wooden floors creaking beneath their feet, and into a ward that had several patients sitting on beds. There were 5 men. They rose to their feet as he walked into their area. Their age appeared to represent several generations of conflict. 2 were from Vietnam, 1 from Korea, and 2 represented the Great Wars. All wore government-issued pajamas. All wore medals over their heart. 1 had difficulty standing because he balanced himself on a crutch. The lower part of his pajamas were pinned to cover a missing limb. Overwhelmed by what he saw, he asked, "Why do you stand for me?" 1 man stepped forward, apparently a spokesman for the group, and said, "Sir, we stand proudly for what you represent." I will never forget this story. Older veterans standing so proudly for what we all stand for: honor, service, excellence, commitment, and courage. These are images and experiences that are seared into one's memory, and they are another side of the Blue Angel experience that is not known or commonly understood. You see, there is something really, really important about meeting heroes from other generations and from generation to generation. They cause us to grow beyond our years, to gain perspective and context of history, and learn of the sacrifices made on our behalf so that we may live free lives. They cause us to want to follow their example and to serve. They cause us to have a much deeper gratitude for those that have come before us and for the sacrifices they made in service to our nation. These Friday mornings were special moments, and this is a story I wanted to share today, a memory I will cherish all of my life. Today we pay tribute to another hero from another generation, while we are surrounded by many more. It is only fitting this morning that I pause and ask the following to stand. If you are a veteran, a police officer, a firefighter, a first responder, a teacher, a coach, or a spouse of any of these people, please stand so that we can all acknowledge your service. So I ask these groups to stand, and I know there's many others as well, to be recognized for two reasons. First, all of you in your respective professions are making a difference on your own front line every day, serving our communities and nation. Second, for you youngsters in the crowd, as you look to serve, look to these men and women as great examples to follow. Recognize that there are so many ways to serve your community and our nation. Find your passion and come serve. For all the spouses, thank you for what you do. You are the glue that holds families, units, and communities together in great times and in the most challenging of times. We are grateful for your service as well. 2 weeks ago on Memorial Day, we paused in order to remember and salute those who served and died for our country. President Reagan said, "Freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children through the bloodstream. Freedom must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same." For all veterans and non-veterans alike, let this memorial to Jeff serve as a reminder that we all have a responsibility to serve in some way. You see, it is the continuation of service that honors our country and those who have fallen defending it. Today we remember Jeff and honor his life. We honor his sacrifice by celebrating the incredible fact that our country, for all of its faults and flaws and forgetfulness of the lessons learned and prices of the past, still produces great people like Jeff who want to serve. Family, friends, and colleagues will always look in the rearview mirror, and rightfully so, recalling happy and joyful memories of a very special and gifted person and an extraordinary life well lived. Jeff would also want us to look forward, to grow, and to serve. We are all better people having known Jeff Kuss, and it is indeed a blessing that his and our paths have crossed. Let's remember Jeff with respect and honor, and also with wonder and joy that he did what he did so we can do what we do. Honor, service, excellence, commitment, and courage. Core values Jeff lived his life by, and words that lift us today. This memorial, a beacon of and a call to service. Who will hear the call to serve? Regardless of our age or station in life, let this memorial remind us that we can all find ways to serve and continue to serve. In our schools, with our police and fire departments, in our hospitals, with our favorite charity, and for those of you that are young and adventurous, consider joining our military one day. I assure you there is no higher honor than wearing our nation's uniform. Let us all commit and recommit to a life of service. As we go forward today, let's be bold and courageous. Let's share Jeff's message of service, and let's follow his example. Finally, I ask for God's blessing on this memorial, this town, our nation, and for those who in the years ahead will hear the call to serve. Guide them and protect them. Ladies and gentlemen, may we leave here today with a sense of wholeness and peace. May the pillars of our own lives be honor, service, excellence, commitment, and courage. And may we always strive for gratitude and grace. God bless you, and thank you. I now have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing a great man, Captain Ryan Bernacki. Ryan was privileged to serve as the commanding officer and flight leader of the Blue Angels for the 2016 and 2017 air show seasons. He is an exceptional person and leader, and one who I have come to admire greatly. Prior to serving as the Blue Angels flight leader, Ryan led combat operations in multiple theaters around the world. He served as an instructor pilot at Top Gun and was the executive officer and commanding officer of VFA 192. In addition, he's a distinguished graduate of the Naval War College, where he earned a master's degree in strategic studies, and he was a Navy fellow at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Currently, he is leading the Navy's effort to develop the future Blue Angel flight demonstration in the F-18 Super Hornet, which you will see in a few years. Ryan is most proud of his family, especially his wife, Rebecca, and her immeasurable contributions to the families and the commands they have served in, and of their daughter, Juliana, and son, Ben. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Captain Ryan Bernacki.
Well, thank you, Mike, very much for that very kind introduction. I'd like to start by thanking the band, the chorus, and the color guard. You guys sounded amazing. You look amazing. I love the blue shirts, and I love the sea of blue shirts all around with all those number 6s smiling back at me. Well, before I begin, really get rolling on what I would like to say today, I feel like I need to also be honest with you. When I took off, actually, we taxied out on June 3rd. The firefighters were saluting, and I took off of that runway and flew back to Pensacola without my wingman. I was filled with a profound sadness, and I thought I would never return to Smyrna. It seemed inconceivably difficult to come back here, to stand on this piece of earth where we lost our brother, and have all those emotions come back. In spite of that, and I think I'm speaking for all of us that have returned to today, I feel immensely humbled and blessed to stand before you. I mean, look how amazing this is. Last night I had the opportunity to come out, and as I was walking up the path, the jet was lit up. If you look with me, below the number 6 on the tail, you see 163498. That's the number of the jet. And that's actually how on the team we would refer to it as 498. And I was floored as I saw it, and I realized Jeff flew that jet. And the men and women here that you see in uniform, they worked on that jet. They put their talent, their passion, their skill into making it fly. Then I realized I flew that jet. And so did the other Blue Angels that are here from the 2015 and 2016 team. And as I looked at it with that gold canopy, it made me think of Jeff and his gold visor. And I thought, wow, is this amazing? So while there is heartache, there is also joy. Joy in connecting. Joy in seeing the Kuss family, Christina, Janet, Michael, Eric, the checkerboards, that amazing flyover, and especially my 2016 Blue Angel teammates and their spouses. So today I endeavor to be here not in sadness, but in celebration. To honor and celebrate the life and legacy of our number 6, Captain Jeff Kuss. And again to celebrate you all, the town of Smyrna, for your enduring support, vision, generosity, and the love that you put in to building this very, very special place. I'm also grateful today for the opportunity to share with you a little bit about my experience as a Blue Angel alongside Jeff Kuss, or Cooch, as we called him. In the past 2 years and 1 week since Jeff's mishap, I spent countless hours trying to make sense of it. I've toiled in my mind to find bigger meaning and purpose in the immensity of losing him. I cannot pretend to have all those answers for you, but I do know that this incredible monument is part of that answer. It's a part of his legacy that will reach forward far into the future. And I believe the reason his legacy continues to compel and inspire stems from what Jeff was about at his core, the ingredients of his character that made him so exceptional. I recently came across a column written by Walter Lippmann in the New York Herald Tribune on July 8, 1937. This column was written 6 days after Amelia Earhart disappeared in the South Pacific and is still regarded as one of the greatest columns in American literary history. Walter Lippmann was talking about Amelia Earhart, but had he been writing in 2016, I believe he would have been inspired to write these words about Cooch. It seemed like he was talking exactly about Jeff as I knew him. Though the column in its entirety is worth a read, I've selected a few of my favorite threads and taken some liberty in stringing them together in an abridged passage. I don't think either Walter or Amelia will mind in this case. So as I begin, think of Jeff. Picture him in your mind, maybe even close your eyes as I paraphrase what Mr. Lippmann wrote so timelessly 81 years ago. I cannot quite remember whether Miss Earhart undertook her flight with some practical purpose in mind. There are those who seem to think that an enterprise like hers must have some justification, that without it, there is no good reason for taking such risks. But in truth, we require no such justification. The world is a better place to live in because it contains human beings who will give up ease and security and stake their own lives for a pursuit they themselves believe in. They are brave without cruelty to others, and impassioned with an idea that dignifies all who contemplate it. The best things of mankind are the things that are undertaken not for some definite, measurable result, but because someone, not counting the cost, is moved by love of excellence or a point of honor. In such persons, mankind overcomes the inertia which would keep it earthbound forever in its habitual ways. They have in them the free and useless energy with which alone men surpass themselves. Such energy cannot be planned or managed or weighed by the standards of utility. It is wild and it is free. But all the heroes, the saints, the seers, the explorers, and the creators partake of it. And Jeff Kuss partook of it. They have been possessed for a time with an extraordinary passion, which is unintelligible in ordinary terms. And what they prove is that man is no mere creature of his habits, no mere cog in the collective machine, but that in the dust of which he is made, there is also fire, lighted now and then by great winds from the sky. These words so clearly describe Jeff to me. He nails it. Cooch was fueled by a passion and energy and a purpose that exceeded all others I have served with. He fearlessly pursued that passion and that search for excellence. What was amazing was that he kept that incredible energy controlled within him, and it came out as strength and purpose. It came out as an integrity and discipline. It came out in the way Cooch carried himself, in that uniquely dignified, larger-than-life, trademarked way of a United States Marine. All of it came out as charisma. Big time. So let me shift gears now with a story or two. And like all the teams that had gone before us, we excitedly got to work as we embarked on the Blue Angels' 70th season. From November through March, Jeff and I toiled together, flying as much as 15 times a week and grinding through the incredibly arduous process of becoming Blue Angels. I was learning how to be the boss and he was learning how to be the opposing solo in 2016. As surreal as it was to actually be doing it, there were many times when we were pretty beat down in those post-flight debriefs. The team veterans like Mumbles, Droopy, and Doc who are here, they gave us no slack, nor would we have wanted any. But it was tough, stressful, even painful. And it brought out the best in Cooch. He had a look he could give me when I needed a boost as the flight leader. It was sort of a half smile with a single raised eyebrow, a sly knowing grin that said to me, "Hey boss, It's all good. Isn't this some crazy cool stuff we're doing? He might not use the word stuff, but you get my meaning. And it would completely turn my day around. He'd lift me up. But in doing so, he'd also hold me to his incredibly high standard with that look. In Jeff's magnificent view, he would lift us all up. It didn't matter who. That's just how we saw the world. We were all teammates, all Blue Angels. It didn't matter the rank, experience, or job. He saw that each team member has a vital role to perform, and he honored that in his actions and his words. Even if it was just an eyebrow raise or a sly grin that he somehow, always tuned to others, knew that you needed. As we progressed through the winter training and into the show season, the flying became fun. And I'll always cherish the vision I have of him grinning at me from under that gold visor off my right wing in that jet. And I'll always remember the passion and power that he brought to that number 6 jet. Cooch was incredibly funny and a beast when it was time to let loose. His energy radiated and he fueled the party, the dinner, or whatever the adventure was. Man, was it fun to be around him, hard at work and hard at play. Something that really stands out is how fierce Jeff and Christina were in prioritizing their family. When you're on the team, you have precious few days off. Usually we'd arrive home late on Sunday night, maybe take Monday off, and then we'd be back at it, getting after it again for the next show. Jeff and Christina taught my wife and me about building the nest. They had a very clear vision on when to slow down, press pause, tune everything else out, and prioritize family. They set an incredible example for all of us. Cooch was an old soul in so many ways. He was a thinker and a dreamer. His vision extended beyond the dreams he'd realized as a Marine fighter pilot and a Blue Angel. Jeff was equally reverent of others, of their journeys and their challenges. He had worked very hard to become a Marine, an F-18 pilot, a Top Gun graduate, and a Blue Angel. And he could share what it was like to persevere in a dream better than most. He could truly make you believe in yourself like he did in himself. He could take away your fear of failure. He could get you to throw away your inhibitions and self-doubt. He didn't need Jedi mind tricks. He just showed you the way. There was no alternative when you were around him, and he did it with an unbending and purposeful humility. He was so authentic with kids. At an air show or a school visit, I wish you could have witnessed the 6-foot-tall Adonis of a Marine in a tight blue flight suit get down on a knee so he could be eye to eye with the kids we met on Fridays through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That is the true essence of the Blue Angel mission, and Cooch understood it better than anyone I've ever seen. I'm very lucky to have known Jeff, to have been his teammate, to have been his commanding officer. So many of you here today are just getting to know him through this very powerful memorial. Jeff will continue to be a brilliant and shining example of the principles that he and Christina live by and that live on in his family, and especially in their children, Calvin and Sloan. I'm so glad for that. Thank you, Smyrna, for your passionate pursuit of excellence. Thank you, Mary Reed and the Memorial Council, and this great community that is gathered here today for your energy and for coming together in a way that epitomizes what Jeff Kuss was all about by creating a place where the life he led can powerfully resonate far into the future. Thank you.
Oh, the land of cloudless wellness.
What about that Stewart's Creek choral? Pretty moving. Our next guest is one that I'm honored to get to introduce. Christina, we cannot imagine how difficult the last 2 years have been for you and for the children. But I hope in some way that the love and the support that all of us, and even more that are here today, that we've been sending from Smyrna has helped you in some small way. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Christina Kuss.
Wow, this is extraordinary. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. I'd like to tell you who Jeff Kuss was to his little family, as he called us. He was our sense of joy, our big guy who made life fun and gave us a deep sense of peace and protection. He was our pillar of strength and our soft place to land. He was our everything while he was here. He was also a naval aviator, and he had passion and ability in his career most sought to emulate. His deeper passion was his family. We had dreams beyond the Marine Corps and aviation that were just starting to formulate. We wanted to do life together so much more than a life in the military offered. Jeff, with tears in his eyes the evening before he died, told me, "I don't ever want to leave you guys." He was talking about his death. That's the thing in having a dangerous job. We prepped our hearts as much as we could for the worst thing we could imagine. But when faced with this reality, we found out what we're really made of. I've struggled in the depths of my soul since he left with why. That is for he and God to know for certain. What I do know is this memorial has been created, and I am awestruck every time I let it resonate. You all love him so much. Thank you. You've grieved for me and our babies. Thank you. His purpose was grand and beyond me. I know that. I miss his sound mind, his intelligent, sometimes off-color humor, the relief he offered my soul. I also know he's here with me, and he will be for the rest of my life, cheering me on and doing his best to show me that Jeff joy. I find him in moments of synchronicity every day. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever experienced, and one of my greatest gifts in grief. Maybe you saw that rainbow on June 2nd. The kids and I did as we drove into your town. Every time I ask our children what they miss about their papa, they say his touch. He was amazing at love. Their grief will evolve. His name and stories will be forever present in our home. I imagine they will learn to miss him in different ways and know in their hearts that since their mama is certain he is here with her, as such, he is with them. To the first responders and people who treated Jeff's body with the utmost dignity and respect, I can't put into words what you mean to me. That you were here for him and us. I imagine your lives are forever changed in ways, and my heart is forever grateful. To all of you who sent notes of love, financial support, and have grieved with us, I carry you in my heart. You have filled my life with hope and promises of a bright future, and I love you all. It's my hope today to spread Jeff's joy of life and service to others. Jeff said these words shortly before his death. Find what puts a fire in your belly and go out and do that. The most important thing to him in being a Blue Angel was this message of a self-driven life in service to the greater good. He was at the pinnacle of his career, and he truly loved tearing up the skies in that jet. But spreading messages of making the world a better place by starting within was even more meaningful to him. The Blue Angels were all about inspiration for Jeff, and he was humbled to be a muse in this, especially for the kids he met along the way. I hope this memorial serves as a reminder that you too really can do anything. It's how I seek to honor him from this day forward, by continuing to live my best life. I find Jeff in my heart and in my baby's shining faces, in Janet, Michael, and Eric Kuss, and all the friends and family that knew and deeply loved the man we grieve. I'm looking forward to the day when it feels peaceful and the best time for all of our hearts to show my children how much their papa meant to so many people. Thank you all for giving me that opportunity with this incredible display of love for their father and my husband, Jeffrey Michael Kuss. You have my heart, Smyrna. Thank you.